Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
Hello and welcome back to more Films Under Constant Critique, where we take a look at films, some good, some bad, and some downright awful. I'm Bongo Baikov, joined by our host Maverick, Dren, Zaria. This week we're taking a look at the animated film Hercules and Xena, The Battle for Mount Olympus.
Yeah, this was a mistake.
Really?
I I remember, while I was watching this, just thinking, why did I choose this? To do a podcast on it? I mean, for fuck's sake. But anyway,
That's interesting that you say that, actually.
oh my god. Yeah, this was released on January 6th, 1998, so that would have been around when the show was airing.
Yeah, I think it was during, in between seasons or something. I'd have to look that up, though.
And this was, unsurprisingly, a direct-to-video movie. And obviously this was a spin-off of the shows Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Xena, Warrior Princess.
Which does have a connection back to our Evil Dead episodes.
Yes, I will be getting to that. And they even managed to get some of the cast members of the show to be in this.
Yep. They got Lucy Lawless back to voice as Xena.
And Kevin Sorbo as Hercules. This was directed by Lynn Naylor, whose other credits include Ren and Stimpy.
I was wondering, actually.
And Batman, the Animated Series.
Now that I'm looking at Lynn's filmography, a lot of this is making sense. I thought parts of it looked familiar. Just kind of like the art design of it.
And she also worked at Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, wow. She did character designs for Monsters vs. Aliens.
And, by the way, this is the only feature film she directed. The
Wow.
only one. And again, I'm not surprised at this. Getting to the Evil Dead connection, Sam Raimi was an executive producer on this.
Yep.
And, in fact, his production company, Renaissance Pictures, helped produce this.
Yep.
They co-produced it with Universal Animation, who produced the Land Before Time sequels and the Balto sequels. So,
oh, really?
lots of quality going on here. The other cast members include a returning cast member, Ted Raimi.
Yep.
He does the voice of one of the Titans. And we also have Kevin Smith in the cast. But not that Kevin Smith. This is the New Zealand actor and singer Kevin Smith. I also noticed a few of these actors appeared in Power Rangers.
Oh, that makes sense.
Let's see, we got Amanda Mcbroom. She was another singer that voice acted in this, and she did a song for Balto 2, Wolf Quest.
All sorts of Balto connections going on.
The best Balto movie. And she also guest starred on Star Trek The Next Generation and Remington Steele.
Huh.
And we also have B.J. Ward, and she did the voice of Velma in a few Scooby-Doo movies.
Huh.
So yeah, quite a lot of
Hanna-Barbera connections.
And we have a returning composer.
We do?
Yeah, Joseph LaDuca did the music for the Evil Dead trilogy.
Huh.
So between this guy and Sam and Ted Raimi, there are quite a few Evil Dead connections.
Yeah.
Now, if only Bruce Campbell was in this.
I will say, I know next to nothing about the actual TV show. The only thing that I knew is that Bruce Campbell played a character, and I was hoping he'd make a cameo in this, but he did not.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. I don't know very much about the show either. Oh, this is also one of the shortest movies we've done on this podcast.
Yep, it's about, 76 minutes?
And I felt a lot of those minutes. So, initial thoughts. Again, I was expecting this to be terrible. I've seen clips of these shows, and really, at best, it looks unintentionally hilarious. I've never really gone out of my way to watch either of these shows. And hell, I hadn't even really heard of Xena until like a year ago. And the only reason I've heard of Hercules, the Legendary Journeys, is because Kevin Sorbo is in it. Because Kevin Sorbo is kind of a running joke with me and one of my friends.
Yeah.
Because both of us, we despise will be bleeped out. And also, because I watched this movie, he was in called Something Beneath, which I thought was unintentionally hilarious.
I don't know if I've watched any movies with him in it.
So we have kind of this inside joke. I like facetiously call him his favorite actor. And of course we like to reference, the disappointed clip.
Oh, yeah.
Due to those connections, I wanted to see this because I thought, I might get some... It might be unintentionally hilarious, because I was going in not really knowing what to expect, so that might make things a little interesting. And yeah, this was awful. And kind of boring, too. It was just really generic, and I didn't really get into it much.
So I went in with, zero expectations. I was ready for just some, garbage cash grab tie-in, which is, in all likelihood, what this was.
That is what this is, yeah.
Yeah. I will say it wasn't nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be. I thought it was just kind of meh overall. I didn't hate it, but yeah.
I mean, that's the problem I had with it, because I was hoping it'd be funny bad, but it was just blah.
Yeah.
It just didn't give me anything. I'll be honest, I ended up skipping over the last 15 minutes of it because I was I just was so tired of it. I wanted it to end. So my notes for this one are probably very sloppy. I got really lazy with this one.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to take note of. It's a pretty straightforward, bare bones movie overall.
And this was also hard to find, too. I don't know if...
Yeah, it's not, streaming anywhere. Not even Tubi has it.
It's not, no.
And if Tubi doesn't have your movie, it probably doesn't exist.
It probably doesn't. There's a lot of movies that aren't on Tubi, believe me, I've checked. But yeah, no streaming services. I'm fuck, how am I gonna... And then I just went to a Russian pirating website or something. Let's get into recapping again. Do we want to? The title card says Battle for Mount Olympus. Even though, the full title is, let's see, Hercules and Xena, the animated movie, The Battle for Mount Olympus. So that's interesting.
I guess they just assumed you knew what you were watching beforehand.
Yeah. Maybe that was the tagline. Just, the animated movie. I don't know. And the opening to this, I was already going, what the fuck?
Yeah, the opening is very strange.
It opens with a song.
And it's a bunch of fish people singing the song.
Yes. And it goes on for longer than I thought it was going to.
It feels like it recaps, the entire story of Hercules.
it takes like 4 minutes to get through this song. I'm like, sheesh.
I guess that makes it 2 movies in a row that have been animated cartoons with musical numbers.
That's another thing. I watched this like about almost exactly a week ago because I watched it last Friday, and you know what? I'm already having trouble remembering what happens.
I watched it about 2 hours ago and I'm already forgetting.
Oh, wow. Good job, movie.
So, we end up getting our opening introduction to Hercules, who's fighting a sea serpent to defend some town.
And it's
Something...
really, really cheap animation. It's nothing to write home about.
Something interesting that I noticed, though, the sea serpent crashes down on top of him. Like its head falls on him, and then he crawls out of its nostril. Which, that's not entirely how that works, but...
Okay. That was another thing I was thinking about with this movie, is, like, not only was this probably trying to cash in on the TV shows, you know, Hercules and Xena, but it was probably the year before this, there was the Disney Hercules movie.
Oh!
So there's... while watching this, I was like thinking this had to have been like them trying to cash in on that too.
That has to be what happened. There's no way that there was any other reason why.
Because it looks really cheap and just slapped together.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he defeats the fish monster. Some villagers come up to him and they're like congratulating him. One of them says, "Hercules, you're the best." And I'm like, not here, you're not. Hercules is honestly kind of dull in this. I was like...
Yeah. He doesn't have much of a personality.
Which again is partly just because of Kevin Sorbo. He's not that great of an actor. But like really, I mean, the voice acting in this is not... Nobody's really putting in that much effort.
And as a bit of a follow-up, it basically gives you no real introduction to who anybody is, gives you no background, really. And so it's really working off that you've seen the show, yeah.
And some ninjas attack... Wait, what? This was random.
Yeah, so they're heading down the road. Hercules and his friend, I think his name is... Let me find it.
I don't remember at all. He was
Aeolus.
Just the comic relief.
Aeolus.
He was basically Malik from Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Except
I ended up...
Okay, that's something I will say. He is funnier than Malik, at least.
That is fair. That is very,
Granted,
very
that's a
fair.
very low bar, but, you know, just... I thought I'd throw that out there.
So, Hercules and Aeolus are just walking through the countryside when they are attacked by a bunch of... Well, Aeolus calls them highwaymen, basically just robbers that are hiding in trees. He fights them off using a swordfish.
And this fight doesn't last very long either. It's like 30 seconds.
And once it's done, we immediately move on to meet Xena and her friend Gabrielle.
That's really what this movie is just... And then we get a scene of, you know, just...
It's the return of the Supergirl format.
Exactly, yeah. And also, I noticed Xena's first line is from Taxi Driver.
Is it really?
Because she says, "You talking to me?" When she's, like, in a bar. Or something. I don't remember what happens.
So they're in the bar, and there's essentially these, like, blue goblin things that have stolen gold from people, and so Xena beats them up and takes the gold back.
Oh, that's right, yeah, she wanted, yeah. It was just,
then
I was realizing I'm less than 10 minutes into this movie, and I already don't care, like, what's going on.
And then out of nowhere, Ares shows up, says that there's a trap waiting for Hercules, asks Xena to marry him, and then disappears. And then that's the end of the scene.
Again, I'm not remembering that. This movie was so forgettable that just we get a scene of oh, for fuck's sake, Hercules and what's his name,
Iolus.
yeah, whatever. They're like plowing a field or something. There was one line here I thought was kind of funny where Hercules says, "What are you complaining about? I'm the horse." 'Cause he's like the one, like pulling him and stuff. But yeah.
And while they're out doing
every
this,
now
Zeus.
and then, there was a line that I thought was kind of funny, so that kept
Yeah.
it from being a complete, like, just train wreck.
And then out of nowhere, Zeus just shows up, kidnaps Hercules' mom, and disappears.
Yeah.
And that is essentially Hercules' motivation the rest of the movie is to get his mother.
Yeah, and again, Kevin Sorbo's voice acting in this is just...
Yeah, it's not very good.
It's very, like, just... You never get the sense of, like, urgency from any character in this.
Not really, no.
Like, I kept, like, just... I was, like, listening to this, I'm thinking just, like, show a little bit more passion here. I mean... Like, I'm probably as dispassionate as possible right now, and even I'm putting a little more effort than they were. Okay, so... Oh, and we meet Aphrodite, and she is snowboarding on shells.
Yep, she's a surfer gal, essentially.
She's a fucking SpongeBob character, I guess. End scene.
Basically. She's just there to remind you that she exists and she's in the show. And then she's gone.
Yeah, and I haven't watched the show, so I'm like, who is this? What is the point here? I don't get it. It's like, they really don't give you anything. Like if you've never seen the show, you're basically just lost.
Yeah.
During this. Like, I remember just watching this and being like, kind of confused and just wondering, who is this? Why? Just... Anyway.
Then we do a very hard cut to Mount Olympus, where Hera and Zeus are in an argument over Zeus
Hera
bringing back
evil cat lady.
Yeah, that's supposed to be Hera, and I don't know why they show her as like a witch.
She kind of sounds like Yzma too.
Yeah, a little bit
from Emperor's New Groove.
It's such a strange choice.
This movie really could have used a Kronk, now that I think about it. Yeah.
So what ends up happening is, after Hera and Zeus get in a fight, she steals this stone called the Cronus Stone, which is essentially used to keep the Titans sealed away in Tartarus. And it's revealed that she plans on reawakening the Titans to take over Olympus herself.
Yeah. This is also the point of the movie where I was like thinking, I miss Willow and Conan.
Like, much better fantasy adventures.
Yeah. And I wasn't even like a huge fan of Willow either, but I was like thinking even that was better than this.
Yeah.
There was one exchange I thought was funny where God damn, I maybe I should just pull up the Wikipedia page. What was that character's name again?
Iolus?
The whatever his name was. He's talking to Hercules, and he like wants to hit on Aphrodite.
Oh yeah, I know the line you're talking about. Yeah.
And Hercules, right before leaving the two, he says, "Don't do anything I wouldn't do." And then Iolus says, "That's no fun. She's your sister." I was like, thinking, this movie It's not very good, but that line was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a pretty good
I thought that
one-liner.
was pretty funny. And again, that was one of those lines that made me go, he's funnier than Malik at least. So,
Yeah.
Hercules saves a kid from falling down a chasm, which
That scene goes on for far too long.
it felt more like something from Superman.
A little bit, except Hercules is just worse at it.
I mean, was Superman based on Hercules? Like,
That would make sense. Oh, actually, just a bit of a thing that I just remembered that was at the very beginning during that intro song, where they were talking about basically the mythology of Hercules. They mentioned that he has only twice the strength of a normal man. That was the limit they put on his power, apparently, in the opening song.
Only twice?
Yeah, I was like, hold on, that
fucking
doesn't
kidding
seem
me?
right.
He's Hercules. Yeah, I was just thinking that, man, even these fight scenes are dull.
Yeah.
They're just, yeah. And again, I'm not remembering most of this, if you can't tell. And I only watched this about a week ago, I should point out. There's a part where Xena is on a boulder, which made me wish I was watching Indiana Jones.
And she's like steering the boulder by running in different directions on top of it.
Yeah. I've seen that in a lot of cartoons and shows and stuff.
And finally, the Titan Porphyrion rises from the ground, and basically Hercules just lets him go.
Yeah, I was like, this scene, I was thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, like, Hercules, like, persuades him not to attack the mortal world, instead go attack Mount Olympus.
Our hero, everybody.
Yeah. Granted, it's not as bad as, in, I won't say it because I know you're gonna get mad.
Say it. Say it.
Man of Steel.
Yep, there we go. It's safer indoors.
It's safer indoors. Oh. Why not just, like, fight him or something? He just lets him go. Like, good lord. You're Hercules.
It kind of makes Hercules look incompetent throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like this in the show or not. All I know about him in the show is that he's disappointed a lot. And some more Titans show up, including a waterbender and a firebender.
Yep.
Which, this was something that kind of surprised me. There's sort of some nudity in this.
A little bit. But I think that's just because of the design of the Titans. They kind of tried to make them as basic as they could, so they would typically just be one solid color, with, like, no clothing or decorations on them.
Still, I was kind of surprised. This is a PG movie. If it was a PG movie from the 70s or 80s, I'd be a little less shocked. But this is the late 90s.
Yeah.
And again, the voice acting sucks. I have to reiterate. There's just... nobody's putting in the effort to make it seem like, oh, there's, like, urgency to these situations. It's just like, oh, we need to do this and go there, and just... I mean, the evil cat lady at least sounds like she's having fun, though.
For the most part, yeah.
She's putting a little more energy to it than everyone else.
And so Zeus calls together Artemis, Aphrodite, and Ares to try and fight the Titans.
Oh, and bad dialogue,
but since...
too. I should mention that. Bad dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of lines I was, like, just thinking, come on. Just come on. I'll be honest, there was, like, one scene where I just got up to, like, go to another room. I, like, put something in the fridge. I just let the movie play. I didn't pause it while I was doing this because I was just like going, I'm not missing much, am I? And then I missed. Apparently, it was that scene with the eagle or something.
Oh yeah, so
what happened
Artemis
in that scene?
Yeah, so Artemis and Ares, they've been called to help Zeus fight against the Titans, and they decide that they need Xena's help. And to convince her to help, they turn her friend Gabriella into an eagle. For some reason, that's gonna help them.
Okay, so somebody got turned into an eagle. That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
That was what I missed, yeah.
But there's no real justification for it. They just say, oh, Xena will help us if we do this.
Okay. Just...
And that's just the scene. There's nothing else that happens. That's basically the whole scene.
And then we get a scene of...
It really is just Supergirl syndrome all over again.
Yeah. Also, one thing I was getting some amusement out of was Aphrodite's voice acting.
Oh, yeah?
Which was just hilariously awful. Like, I was just like, she was kind of putting in some effort, but kind of not, so it was...
She sounded high the whole time.
Yeah, kind of. It was just so bad. A fire titan turns into a skull and hugs another titan. What the fuck was that?
Okay, hold on. I don't remember that part.
It was a very brief part, but I was like, what the hell was that?
This is a mess of a movie.
And then the evil cat... Do you see what I was talking about now?
Yeah, I'm getting it more now.
The evil cat lady has a green stone to control the Titans. Because again, you have to have the green stones in these movies.
And so Hera ends up transforming the different gods into different animals. So Zeus becomes like a mouse. Artemis becomes a rabbit. Aphrodite becomes a cow. And Ares becomes a goat.
Yep, Zeus gets turned into Great King Rat. Which means he'll die on the 21st of May, which is his birthday. Fine. Yeah, the gods and the Titans, the gods just get their asses kicked.
It's no contest.
It's such a bad fight. All of the action scenes were just like, because nobody's giving a shit. Nobody was trying that hard.
Nope.
With animating it either. And then Hercules shows up. That's another
and he
thing.
does
Hercules
nothing.
Is absent for a lot of this movie.
And he does nothing. He grabs his mom and jumps out, and that's it.
Wow, what a lame hero. This cliche dialogue. Basically, Hercules and Xena, they were the only ones that weren't turned into animals, so yeah. Also wrote in the notes, just end already. Although, okay, we do get this scene, which the Titans start singing.
Oh god, it goes on for just entirely too long.
I'm gonna be totally honest, this part was kind of hilarious for me.
It comes out of nowhere and you're just kind of baffled. It goes on for so long and they reuse animation throughout.
They're like singing "We're the Titans," boom shakalaka.
Shakalaka.
It's horrible, but in a good way.
So after their musical number, Hera tries scolding them for destroying, the entirety of Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
And Porphyrion essentially steals the green stone and kicks her out and puts her in like this weird, like small Persian looking palace.
Yeah, something. I don't know. I don't remember. But then Xena has a song.
Yep, where she's singing about wanting to save her friend who's turned into an eagle.
Yeah. It's no We're the Titans, that's for sure.
No.
I was actually kind of surprised though that there were song numbers in this.
Yeah, no, I was not expecting that.
Oh my god. It's just as out of nowhere as those Russian pirate live action PSAs from
I feel like the PSAs were better than this, though.
They were a lot. Well, no shit, they were better than this. Everything about that movie was better than this. Hercules doesn't want to be bothered by annoying farm animals for eternity.
And so all the gods who are farm animals essentially convince Hercules to go and fight the Titans, which that doesn't seem like a fair fight to me, but
The Titans, the gods get their asses kicked so easily by the Titans too. Like I'm just like, what? And then now they're just farm animals, and you're just like, okay, no, this is not gonna. Like, one Titan grows wings, another becomes a tree. And this is about the point I just fast forward through the ending.
I kind of lost track of what was happening.
I just gave up. I was like, fuck it, I'm done with this movie. It's the second time I've done a movie for this podcast, and I didn't end up finishing it.
I think the only one that I can think of that I did that was Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
And Alien Resurrection.
Oh, yeah. No, okay, yeah, so I did it twice. That's right.
The only other time... Okay, I did it for this one, and the only other time I did that was with... Can You Really Blame Me? Rise of Skywalker.
Fair. Very fair. But what essentially happens in the end is Hercules, against all odds, drops the Titans into pits of lava in Tartarus, and then uses the stone to seal them all back in Tartarus again.
Yeah, again, who cares? Although I am kind of glad this was forgettable, because then that means it won't haunt my nightmares like some movies do.
Yeah, it's not like where I remember too much of that movie.
I will vouch for you. That movie's a piece of shit. Like that was one where I was like, it can't be that bad. And granted, I didn't think it was as bad as you think it is, but it was still terrible. It was just...
Yeah, no, I hated every moment.
Like, the lead actor, even the lead actor just sucked in it. I was just...
Yeah. I mean, the main character was just thoroughly unlikable.
And it just... I was watching it and just thinking, okay, if I want to see this concept again, I'll just watch Shutter Island or something. It does it a whole lot better than that movie did. And what's with the fucking eels? What was the... Okay, whatever. I'm not... I will say this, I would rather watch this than watch that again.
Yeah, very, very fair.
Because at least with this one, there's some hilariously bad parts, whereas that one was just boring and frustrating. Like I said, I'm glad this one was forgettable, because...
There are worse things you can be.
By the time we record this, I'm just gonna forget most of it. Did I succeed? Yeah, I did. I succeeded. I don't remember most of this. So I guess I won and the movie lost. So, overall thoughts.
Disappointed!
The animation sucks, the voice acting sucks, the story wasn't interesting, it was
You know what
boring.
the animation...
There were a few parts that were funny, but yeah. And it... Sorry, what were you saying?
The animation reminded me of like those old animated Marvel cartoons.
No, which one?
Like the Marvel, what's it called? It was like the Avengers TV cartoon.
I don't know if I saw that one.
What's it called? What is it called? The Marvel superheroes.
I don't know if I ever saw that one. But it is very cheap and just lazy animation. It's just direct to video stuff. I mean, which granted, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be so harsh on it since it was like direct to video, but still, like even for direct to video, this was lazy.
Yeah.
Like they did no effort at all was put into this.
Half the time there wasn't even a background, it was just a colored gradient that they would show.
It is the worst animated movie we've done on this podcast, which to be fair, that's only 3.
But the quality, there's such a wide gap in the quality between this and the others.
You look at like the Mario anime, which was bizarre and just trippy. It went by at a quicker pace, and the animation was better. Or the Russian Treasure Island movie,
which is just a trip.
Just wonderful movie there. Very just... I don't even know what the fuck to say about that one. And I guess that also makes this the worst one-off movie we've done on this podcast, which again is only 4 movies, to be fair.
Oh, it also has to compete with the Max Headroom movie, though.
But I rather jeez.
I think I do agree, though. I would rather watch Max Headroom again than this.
I'm thinking, actually. Max Headroom, it seemed like... Max Headroom was shorter, so yeah, I'd probably... It was shorter, so yeah, I'd probably watch that, but... And I will say in its favor, it's not the worst movie I've seen starring Kevin Sorbo. But yeah, it was a lazy podcast for a lazy movie, so there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother with trivia for this.
Oh my god, okay, I just decided to look on the IMDb trivia page. One piece of trivia.
Okay.
Only one on the entire page. Was originally set for a fall 1997 video release before being pushed to January of 1998.
Yeah.
That is the only piece of trivia.
Also, it's worth pointing out, January is not a good month for movies, usually.
No.
If a movie's coming out in January, it's just, I mean, for fuck's sake.
Okay.
Like I said, there's just nothing to say about this movie because the movie has nothing to say about itself.
Okay, I found one other thing that's humorous.
Oh, good lord.
So this is an anachronism in the movie. At around 50 minutes in, an electrical socket is visible inside Alcmene's home, despite the movie being set in ancient Greece.
In whose home?
Hercules' mother's home.
I mean, they are gods, so... Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on this movie.
I was... There was a part of me that was thinking, maybe I am being too harsh on it, because really, all in it, it's just a forgettable direct-to-video movie. I mean, compared to some of the other stuff we've done, which was studio. But again, still, like, they could have put a little bit more effort into this. Because everybody just sounds bored, and even the animators, it just seems like they were bored.
Yeah.
And as a result, I was bored. Do you have anything to add, or?
I have nothing else to add. It was just a blah, forgettable movie.
Very bland. Honestly, it might be the blandest movie we've done a podcast on.
It's just so incredibly forgettable.
Because, okay, Superman 4 was bad, but it was...
You could laugh at it at points.
It was so, like... The story behind how it got made was interesting, too, because, like, you're just like, oh, they had to cut the budget and stuff. Like, I'm just like, oh my fucking god. Whereas with this is just a cynical cash grab. It's just, there's nothing special about it. But I wasn't as mad during this as I was during a few other movies we've done on this podcast. So
Yeah.
it's not the worst we've done on this podcast, but it is one of the most pointless things we've done on this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I got much out of this.
It was, yeah, very forgettable. Hard to find, and I think it should stay that way.
Yeah. I feel like maybe we just shouldn't even release this podcast, because that'd be giving it attention it doesn't deserve.
That would actually be just hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the next podcast will be Man of Steel.
Roll the Andy Griffith and let's get out of here. I'm tired of talking about Hercules.
Good night, you stupid idiot. Good night, you miserable slob.